Okay, so I want to just recap what's going on with the Fotis Dulos, Jennifer Dulos case. Murder charges against Fotis were dropped. Let's find out why, and then I'm also going to give you updates on MICHELE Troconis and Kent Mawhinney. Okay, so let's see what's going on. The murder charges against Fotis Dulos have been dropped, but it's not because he's innocent. It's because he's dead. Chief State Attorney Richard Colangelo asked the Stanford Superior Court judge to dismiss the charges against Fotis Dulos due to the fact that he's dead and cannot stand trial. On March 3rd, a Stanford Superior Court judge did dismiss those charges against Fotis Dulos, ending the criminal case. Now, we know Fotis was found in his car trying to kill himself with carbon monoxide poisoning. He wasn't completely successful at all. They brought him back with a faint pulse, where he remained in a hyperbaric chamber for a little bit and then eventually died at the hospital in the Bronx. And that was on January 30th that he was pronounced dead. His attorney, Norm Pattis, is not happy with this, and if you remember, he vowed to posthumously clear his client's name, and he fought for the right to continue the case. Pattis asked the court to continue the case so he could attempt to clear Fotis Dulos' name by substituting the name of his estate as the defendant. At the March 3rd hearing, Pattis said his client was framed, and Pattis claimed that someone murdered Jennifer and dumped a pile of bloody clothing on the family porch. And that, according to Pattis, was what Fotis was seen on surveillance dumping into the trash bins along Hartford Street. If the case did go to trial, Judge, we would have proceeded under the theory. And we have reason to believe that this theory is in fact true, that Ms. Dulos came to a violent end at the hands of a third party unrelated to Mr. Dulos, Pattis said. Still, the judge ended up dismissing the charges. At a press conference, Pattis said this was not the ending we anticipated in the form we hoped. We hoped fully well to stand in front of you someday with the charges against Mr. Dulos ended by way of an acquittal. Pattis wrote an email to a media outlet stating, "The case of State versus Fotis Dulos ended today. There are pending cases involving MICHELE Troconis and attorney Mawhinney. Out of respect for the fair trial rights of these individuals, we will have no further comment on the underlying factual allegations." Troconis, Dulos' ex-girlfriend, and Kent Mawhinney, Dulos' friend and civil attorney, are charged with conspiracy to commit murder. In the meantime, Pattis said he intends to ask Dulos' estate for the green light to appeal the decision. I don't think that's going to go well. Let's have an update on MICHELE. So Fotis Dulos' ex-girlfriend, MICHELE Troconis, appeared at Stanford Superior Court on February 7th, 2020. MICHELE is charged with conspiracy to commit murder in connection with the disappearance of Jennifer Dulos. She retained a new attorney, and while in the courtroom, she spoke Spanish and wore a headset for everything to be interpreted to her for the first time ever. Okay, she suddenly doesn't speak English anymore or understand English. Now, her new attorney, John Schoenhorn, requested that the drug testing and ankle monitoring bracelet could be removed, citing it was causing MICHELE injuries. He also asked the judge if the house arrest restriction could be lifted so she could travel to other areas in Connecticut, to Massachusetts, and New York. Schoenhorn said they would hand over MICHELE's passports. Newly appointed Chief State Attorney Rich Colangelo said that MICHELE was wearing a sweatband to make the ankle monitor look tighter than it was, and that they had already loosened it once. He also said that Michele was attempting to have contact with Fotis Dulos through a third party. Colangelo said travel should be limited to Connecticut only. The judge ruled on eliminating the drug testing. He also ordered the passports to be handed over and said that they will work on bracelet comfort with probation. However, Troconis is still under house arrest and can only go out for religious, lawyer, or shopping reasons. She is not allowed to leave the state. Work trips need to be approved through probation, and the judge ordered there be no side trips. Troconis will be allowed to travel for business appointments. Troconis entered a not guilty plea and is due back in court on March 20th. Kent Mawhinney pleaded not guilty on February 20th, 2020, during a brief court appearance where he was seen passing a note to one of his attorneys. Kent, 54, has been in jail on $2 million bond since being arrested, at gunpoint, no less, on January 7th, for his alleged connection with the disappearance and suspected homicide of Jennifer Dulos. Mawhinney appeared for less than 1 minute as his attorney entered his not guilty plea. It was Mawhinney's first court appearance since he was arraigned last month. A piece of paper could be seen in the chest pocket of Mawhinney. And when the hearing ended, Mawhinney, his hands cuffed behind his back, leaned over, and his attorney, Lee Gold, took the note from his pocket. When Gold and fellow defense attorney Jeremy Donnelly left the courthouse about a half an hour later, they declined to comment about the contents of the note. Mawhinney is next scheduled to appear in court on March 31st. And of course, we'll be bringing you updates, but this, I wanted to get this out there because it's been several days. All right. Hope that was helpful in getting you caught up, and thank you for watching.